Everybody, welcome in. We're going to do some NBA picks for tonight. I've already done the podcast this morning, but this is something new that I'm going to try to get into filming the podcast. But obviously, I've already done the podcast this morning. I usually like to get it out in the morning just so people have time to listen and react and to make their picks based off whatever opinion that I might have or you might have. I just like to give people enough time to interact with what I've put out. But we're just hop right into it. We're gonna hop right into the first game of the night. Toronto in Orlando. Right now, the line is 6.5 in Toronto's favor. As you guys know, Orlando have a lot of people out with injuries right now. Nikola Vucevic is their only option and has been their only option pretty much all season long since Markelle Fultz got injured. But now Aaron Gordon is out. That was one of their best paint players. He's one of their best options at the end of game. He's out indefinitely with a sprained left ankle. He'll be out 4 to 6 weeks. The Raptors, meanwhile, have most of their playmakers healthy. I could see this coming down to a board game to see who gets however many boards they get wins. Right now, Toronto averages 111 points a game, or Orlando averages 104. And that's obviously gone down with the amount of injuries that Orlando has seen. Orlando has out-rebounded people this year, but that's with Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon's gone. I don't see it's 43 to 46 in the rebound category tonight. Orlando favored. I don't see that being a factor due to Aaron Gordon being out. Toronto passes the ball a lot better, and that's due to having Kyle Lowry on your team, having playmakers on your team like Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet. This Raptors team, I feel like, is a little bit underrated when it comes to the lines I've seen this year. Especially in this game with an injury-laden Magic team. I would take the 6.5 here. I think it's an easy pick. I think you guys could probably feel the same way that I do. I think this is an easy pick here. Toronto 6.5. Let's move on to the next game of the night. Big game. Huge game. Massive game. The LA Clampers versus the Brooklyn Nets in Brooklyn. Brooklyn has hit the over in their last 13 games. The over-under tonight is 242. That's a bit much for me. I don't know about you guys. 242 is a lot of damn points. And going against a team that plays pretty good defense in LA and having someone like Kawhi and Paul George to not shut down necessarily, but, keep them at will as far as Kevin Durant and James Harden are concerned. Kawhi Leonard has been playing fantastic of late in their last 11-game stretch. I went over that in today's podcast. Brooklyn leads in the rebound category at 45.5 to LA's 43.7 a game. They also pass the ball better with 27.1 assists to Clippers 24.8. They also turn the ball over more. I think that could be a big factor tonight against a good LA Clippers team. But the way that Brooklyn has been shooting as of late, stats can only do so much for you. But when you look at them and you watch them and the way they've been playing recently, it's hard to bet against them. It's hard to bet against a team that seems like they make more than half their shots, because they do. I'm going to ride the Brooklyn Nets train tonight, I think. Let's see what the updated line is real quick. Okay, so the line hasn't changed much. It's still 1.5 in the Clippers' favor. if I'm you right now, and I think let's check and see. Let's make sure Kyrie's not out tonight. No, he's not out. Only Claxton and Dinwiddie are on the report. So you've got Kyrie, James Harden, and Kevin Durant tonight. Yeah, money line all night. I think they beat the Clippers. With as well as Kawhi's been playing as of late, the Nets have been scoring better. I know the Clippers play great defense, but these are the three best, some of the best scorers in the NBA, especially James Harden and Kevin Durant. I'm taking money line Nets. We'll move on to the next game. Next game is Memphis at Indiana. Let's check the injury report on that if we can. Pacers, TJ Warren is out indefinitely, and Chris LeVert, obviously with his cancer diagnosis, is out. He had surgery, actually. I think it was successful, and they got what was in him out. Let's pull the game chart for this. So Memphis is a decent team, folks. I mean, they're not world beaters, and neither is Indiana without the players that they traded. Sabonis has had a really good year this year, and that might be due to them having less options than they did in the past. But he's having a really good year. Malcolm Brogdon's 22.9 points a game, 7 assists. He's having a good year too. Miles Turner, he's putting up numbers right now that are eligible for a Defensive Player of the Year honor. I don't think he gets it, but needless to say, almost 4 blocks a game. When's the last time you heard of anybody doing 4 blocks a game? That's just impressive. Memphis Grizzlies, however, with as much paint help as the Indiana Pacers have, and Domantas Sabonis and Miles Turner, Memphis Grizzlies out-rebound them by +3 clip, 45.9 to 42.6. They also pass the ball better. I really like Dillon Brooks in the starting lineup here. I know it's not a name that you would expect me to say. You probably expect me to say Ja Morant or Jonas Valanciunas or Tyus Jones, but Dillon Brooks has been really good for them. Let's make sure that... Okay, so Grayson Allen is out. Jonas Valanciunas is out. Oh, they're both ruled out for Tuesday. Wow, that changes my whole opinion on this game. What's the line on this game? Indiana -4.5. I would rock that without Jonas Valanciunas. I think they get dominated in the paint without him there. Also with Grayson Allen out, that's another option on this Memphis team that you just can't be without. Ja Morant should battle and put up some points tonight. I wonder what his player prop is tonight. We'll dive into it. Why not? We got time. We got time, folks. Let's see what his player prop is, because whatever it is, I'm probably going to take the over with those options out. Let's see. Total points. Get me to Ja Morant. Well, I don't see a Ja Morant on here. Okay, well, if you can find a Ja Morant over under point, yeah, if you can find an over under for how many total points he's going to score, I would take it. I think without those options there, he's trouble, man. I mean, he's going to put up 30, 35 points tonight. I truly believe that. But to get back to the line, Indiana is going to cover 4.5 here without Jonas Valanciunas and Grayson Allen. As long as everybody on Indiana is healthy, I think they are. I looked at the Pacers report. I believe they are fine. They're fine. TJ Warren out. So yeah, take the 4.5 here. That's enough to persuade me to take in that. Next game on the evening is Portland at Washington. Washington sucks. They're so bad. And I just read a report that Bradley Beal wants to stay in Washington. My guy, what are you doing? Get out of town. Leave while you can. This train is headed nowhere fast. I said this the other day on the show. I'll say it again. They are hot garbage, and they're dragging you down. You need to get out of town and fast and go somewhere that will appreciate you and that will show your true talents. Sorry. Portland Trailblazers plus 2.5. I'm taking the money line all night long. I don't like the Washington Wizards at all. I don't care if they got Russell Westbrook in the lineup. I don't care if they got Bradley Beal. I don't care. Portland wins this game easily. On to the next. Boston Celtics at Golden State Warriors. That is the nightcap on TNT tonight. We covered that in the podcast also. That was one of our 3 picks of the night. I really like Boston tonight. But on the other hand, they don't have anybody that can guard Steph. So what I really like is the over, which the over has moved up. It was 223 this morning. It's 226.5 right now, according to Bovada. If I had to take the line right now, I would take Boston minus 2.5. Let's check the injury report real quick just to make sure there's no surprises. I don't believe I remember seeing anything on there. Yeah, so I mean, Marcus Smart's out. I guess that we went through that in the podcast too. He's out. He's the reason they don't have anybody to guard Steph. Usually in this game, he would probably play a 30-plus minute game to guard Steph. He's out today with a strained left calf and will miss probably 2 to 3 weeks, I believe is what they said. So with him out, I that's why I took the over in this game. They don't have anybody that can play with Steph. But then again, Golden State doesn't have anybody that can play with Tatum and Brown. So I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. If I had to take somebody in the line, I would take the Celtics minus the 2.5 that they are given. So let's play the over at 223 since that's what I got it at this morning and not 226 because it's moved up 3 points already. I'm going to take the Celtics 2.5, and we'll move on to the sixth and final game of the night. Detroit at Utah. Utah's favored 12 for good reason. Utah's played great this year. Detroit has not. I don't know if this game will be played tonight. I know the Pistons and the Nuggets were supposed to play last night, and they didn't because of COVID protocols. I don't know if that was on Denver's side or Pistons side. I don't see anything on the Nuggets injury report that's COVID protocol. Let's check the Pistons. Let's see, Pistons. Yeah, no, nothing there either. So I guess I haven't come out with the COVID protocol injury report yet for those 2 teams. So I don't even know if that game will happen tonight. If it does, I don't know how you don't take Utah plus or minus the 12. Utah's been a great team. Let's look at the metrics for this game. Utah's 15-5. I mean, that's real good. That's real good. And Detroit's the exact opposite at 5-15. So that's real bad. That's real bad. Utah averaging 113 points a game, averaging almost 50 rebounds a game. That's tops in the NBA. Detroit averaging 43. So they're getting +7 in that margin. And everything I read on the injury report says Rudy Gobert is playing tonight. Sadly, and I don't mean this as a kick at Jeremy Grant because I love Jeremy Grant, put in a great season for the Nuggets last year. if Jeremy Grant is your top scorer, you're not going to the playoffs. You're not. As much as a hooper as he's been, because he's been hooping 23.6 a game, he's definitely gotten that starting role he wanted. I'll tell you that right now. But that Pistons team sucks. You got the money. I bet you're happy. But you're playing on a losing team now, my friend. And that's not going to change tonight. You're not beating Utah, especially in Utah. Utah 12, take it. Donovan Mitchell's been playing out of his mind. Rudy Gobert has also been playing out of his mind. Take the Jazz. Mike Conley off the bench. Love Mike Conley. But yeah, take the Jazz. We will touch base on a few college games tonight, specifically the Texas Baylor game in Austin tonight. We did that. We previewed that game on the podcast earlier. I'm taking Texas to upset Baylor tonight. I think Texas has the guards to play with Baylor's guards. Baylor's guards have been playing outstanding this year. And obviously you can listen to the podcast and hear exactly what I had to say on them. But Texas is playing as good as anybody outside of Baylor and Gonzaga. Just like I said about Alabama last weekend, Alabama was playing lights out, and then they met in the Big 12 Challenge. It was a problem. Oklahoma took care of business. Tonight, Texas takes care of business in Austin against Baylor. Take the money line. Thank me later. It will happen tonight. Another game I bet, but was not on the podcast, was Penn State at Wisconsin. Penn State +9 is the play here. It was +8 when I took it. It's actually moved in favor of Wisconsin. Take the +9. Penn State's sneaky good. Sneaky good. Every game they've played in conference play, for the most part, has been close. 9 points seems a lot. Seems like a lot to give Penn State. So I took Penn State in the 9. Arkansas and Mississippi State. Arkansas has moved from 7 to 7.5 in Fayetteville at Bud Walton Arena. Arkansas has lost 6 straight games to Mississippi State. Now, this isn't the same Mississippi State that we've lost 6. I say we, sorry, I'm an Arkansas fan. That Arkansas has lost to in years past. Ben Howland does not have as good of a team as he's had in years past. Reggie Perry's gone. The options are dwindling as far as the scoring options. But Arkansas just lost a heartbreaking non-conference game that they really needed for their tournament resume. So they're a little bit low, but they need this game. They cannot lose games like this. So having said that, at home, 7.5 seems like enough. I will take Arkansas to win this game by 9 or 10 tonight against a mediocre Mississippi State team. Lock that in. Another game. Let's do a little bonus game. That's all the games I've bet today. Georgia at Auburn. That could be enticing. 8.5 in Auburn's favor. Iowa and Michigan State. Michigan, boy, talk about a team. Talk about all of the blue chip programs this year just not good. Michigan State is one of them. They should be. I haven't heard them very often in the discussion as the Kentuckys and the North Carolinas and the Dukes and the Kansases. Well, actually, Kansas is pretty decent this year. But those other 3 teams, I haven't heard them in the mention as much. Michigan State is not good this year. They're okay, but they're not Michigan State basketball, at least what they usually are. Iowa is favored by 9.5 tonight. That might be a lot of points against Michigan State. I still believe there's a little Spartan magic in there. But I guess if I had to bet the game, Iowa's coming off that loss this last weekend. I'm going to take Iowa. I'm going to take Iowa 9.5. Just like a true degenerate to bet the game and not know a whole lot about it. That's me, folks. No, I do my research. I just figured I'd throw in an extra game just to try to please y'all. But yeah, that's it for tonight. I'm gonna try to make this a thing. Just get on here, shoot the bull, throw in some picks with a little bit of stats, a little bit of my own reasoning in it. If you guys like it, it's cool, man. If you don't, still cool. Don't care. I'm just on here to discuss. I think about this stuff all day long. Like I really do. Like I've got a little bit of my work schedule. Like I'm here, I'm working. I've got that stuff to think about. But on the other side of my brain, when my wife is gone, she's a teacher. But when my wife is gone during the day, the other side of my brain thinks about sports. So I just, hey, man, I don't necessarily have anybody to talk to in the house. If I started talking to the dog like this, we'd have some problems. So this is a good way for me to basically get it all out, and not hassle my wife with stuff she doesn't care about when she gets home. But yeah, I appreciate y'all tuning in, man. I'm going to try to keep coming out with these. Like, share, subscribe, hit the podcast, Degenerate Dylan Podcast. Hit me up on Twitter, Degenerate Dill, Degenerate DILL. Hit me up there. DM me if you're interested on coming on the show. Be glad to have a visitor. Even if it's one of my friends that, I'm not looking for high profile people here. I'm just looking to talk, shoot the bull, man. Have some fun, There's shit. If you want to get on and drink a beer, let's do that. I got no problem with it. Just holler at me. But yeah, that's it for me today. We'll catch up tomorrow, people. We will go over some more picks, and we will see what is happening on Thursday. Y'all have good luck with your picks tonight. Okay? Take it easy.